and welcome back to Pick One, Pack One. I'm Kozzi, and I'm continuing on from my previous draft that I stopped a couple of hours ago. We're playing with a slightly underpowered Stonescar aggro deck. So far we've managed to take it to 2-1. Watching back through the video and seeing how it all uploads to YouTube, I realised I really messed up that first match. Quite a few mistakes, but it's the joy of talking and thinking at the same time. And by the same token, I guess I need to learn how to do both together. I think I've played Milkman before, quite a few times, but I guess being in draft, that information doesn't help me too much. Useless hand here, we'll get rid of it. Hopefully we'll get something that we can play with. And this will be fine, so long as we draw one extra land at some stage. Once we get there, I can't complain too much. So my first choice really is which 2-drop to run. I'm not too interested in beefing up my factional loyalty, so it's really whether I'm expecting him to have removal and wanting to get the benefit of the armor, or whether I'm wanting to get aggressive and I think a 2-2 can get in. It looks like he's playing Combre. Generally the next drop will be the Sigil Searcher, and I imagine they'd be very happy to trade there. Although if I do happen to get an extra piece of power, I could be getting extra aggressive. Just in case if he does miss, I think it's worth going for the play that has the highest upside, especially whilst Combre colours aren't known for their removal, at least if you have less than 4 power. And it looks like I've been paid off really well here, because he's between a rock and a hard place as to whether he's just going to chump block and give me advantage, or let me get quite powerful quite quickly. If that's the case, I don't have any double power requirements that I need to worry about. I definitely don't want to be sacrificing to the Thorn Beast, so I think what I want to be doing is actually setting up so that next turn I'm tempted to sacrifice, which is what the Obsidian Golem will allow me to do best. I do need to be careful about these Warcries coming in. Things could get out of hand pretty quickly, but fortunately I'm very well set up to be aggressive and to try and deal with this. Especially if I'm to draw another power, it means, ooh, nothing. It means I could be getting a lot more aggressive. So, there is the Flash Silence guy that I need to worry about, but the worst case scenario is it means the Obsidian Golem won't create a piece of equipment and they'll trade. Am I happy with that? Yeah, I think I am. Especially as I think it's moderately unlikely for him to have anything to punch me for this. Instead, this way I can just keep developing my board and getting ready to trade up with a rapid shot on whatever he happens to slowly play on his 5th turn. I feel as though overall I'm very happy with how this matchup is going. The Warcry hasn't got anything too scary. He's still got plenty of turns before the Aspirant gets pumped up, and the Execute puts me in a very nice position. So I've really got a choice. Execute, Thorn Beast. The clock there is almost non-existent. It's just whatever he makes bigger. To be honest, I really don't care that much about it. If he chooses to block on the Golem, I can then execute, clear his board, and have... Although I probably want to keep this for something bigger. Either way, I'm not afraid to chump attack in. That really wouldn't bother me. The trade doesn't bother me too much either. This looks like he's got a Giant Growth, the finest hour, I should be saying correct. And if that's the case, he's going to regret using it so aggressively. It does mean that I can't use all of my power this turn, but I think it's a very fair trade-off. Very fair trade-off indeed. So if I attack in and he's got another Giant Growth, that would be a problem there. I think what I actually want to do is to pop Aegis on the Crown Watch Paladin. Is there any reason not to attack first? If he double blocks, I've got no issues with a double block whatsoever. If he chumps onto either, or if he blocks and I chump attack in with either of my 2s, probably be chump blocking the 4, so I'll be getting 4 damage in, putting him on 7, plus 2 puts him on 5. Yeah, I'm equally happy with that, so I think we'll just swim with the team and see where he wants to go from here. So that's a fantastic trade from my point of view. Absolutely fantastic trade. And I think what I'll do is I'll go after the equipment so I can diversify my threats. I think it's also worth trying to get the equipment so that I can get better value out of my smuggler stash if this game does happen to go long. Although it doesn't feel like it's remotely close to going long. Okay, so you're able to make a small problem for me. If I exhaust your Peacekeeper, you're forced to chump block, and then I'll get ready to do it again next turn. I feel as though that's all I really want to do right now. And this is beginning to look very, very, very close to game over. You need to have several chump blockers simultaneously. Okay. And he's chosen to sacrifice himself for the greater good. One thing I do need to do is I think I'll turn the computer sounds down a little bit. I realised in the last video that they were getting a bit overpowering. And we'll go and see if we can get to our 3rd gold chest. Generally that's my benchmark of feeling as though I've had an adequate draft. I'm not happy. I generally get happy once I hit my first platinum chest. That's when I feel like I'm doing things. So considering we started off with such a bad game 1, I feel as though we're having a decent rally. On the whole, I found that the Stonescar and the Ricano aggressive decks have worked best for me. I know that other people have talked about the benefit of having a time-heavy multicolored deck where you rely on your sigil fixing to be able to basically just pick and choose or cherry pick the bombs that you happen to find during the draft. Although I've noticed for me, I found that ever since that article was released on RNG Eternal, that Combray has almost never been open for me, and whenever it is, you're generally struggling to fill it out, which is probably the definition of not being fully open. This hand has me nervous. If we don't pick up any creatures soon, we're not going to be doing much at all, but we can buy time. We can catch him out on a couple of tricks, and so I feel as though this is better than a random 7. I'm probably going to get proven wrong on it though. If, however, he's a very slow Elysian deck or something like that, this makes me happy for my first keep. Although I'm definitely going to need to keep drawing creatures that are relevant. This will be great later in the game. I'm going to be doing my best to slow down his beatdown, which I imagine he's going to be the aggressor for this matchup. Although that is also great news. We'll offer up a trade. He's not going to take it, and we'll keep one back just to keep him honest. And we'll keep developing, ready for the fact that I have one of my favourite combinations in this particular deck. Okay, this is exceptional news so far. All I want to finish off this matchup and to be truly happy is the next 2 cards to be 2 sigils. On defense, I'm not afraid of him anymore, so I don't feel the need to hold back an extra blocker. What is the likelihood of him having a pump spell? He's done nothing, so either he's got a terrible curve or a pump spell, and even so, if we're desperate, I can still use both. So again, I felt very comfortable setting up there. I didn't see any delay that made me suspicious of him having a torch. Otherwise, I feel like I would have been a little bit more conservative on that line. The 2-5 charge does not worry me at all. He's just going to be trading off for a pump spell. Swing him with the team. He's probably thinking it's a chump attack, which it most certainly isn't. And at this point in time, I'm in a very commanding position, because whatever he catches next, if he chooses to attack, I've got the removal and it'll just keep the damage up anyway. And the minute I start drawing power again, I'm going to keep the pressure on. And there was the writing on the wall for him. So, we move up to our 4th win, and very neatly, I've happened to hit the top 100 with this series, which I really didn't expect to happen quite that fast, but it's a nice bonus. I realise this might seem like a bit of gratuitous ego stroking, but I've never hit the top 100 in draft before, so I kind of like to take the chance to take a look and just take in the moment and see it. There are a couple of names that I recognise up here. Whilst I don't have it confirmed, I strongly suspect that Boss MTG is Tom Ross. I've played against him twice so far. Chuppa Chops was actually a guy who I think we lost to in the first round of this particular video. JPEG, very infamous in ranked. And I noticed recently that Michael Majors was up here, and Majors and also Pat Chapin, which I think personally is one of the true excitements of playing this game. I watch a lot of Magic, and it's really nice for me to have the opportunity to actually say I've played up against someone who I admire. Living in Australia, the opportunities to get overseas and play some of these people are next to zero. Granted, they came down for the Pro Tour at Sydney, but yeah, it's just nice to have this in my living room, really, so I can do it whilst watching the cricket and probably get distracted by a wicket. So going for 5 and X, this is the matchup where I do get a little bit nervous. I generally get excited at the prospect of making my money back, and once we start getting into the diamond chest, that's when we really start to rock and roll. Matched up against Scenic, and this is very much a capable hand. We have a very clear plan of a 2-drop into a 3-drop. We've got a bit of card draw to mitigate if we do happen to flood, and we're going first. The only thing I could have asked for more would be one of my Lethrai Rangers here. But I feel as though that'd be an embarrassment of riches. So instead I'll just enjoy my shiny guy. Slightly off curve, which is a little bit of a shame, because he would have been in real trouble otherwise, but they'll be useful later. I've got to admit, I'm a real fan of the Greninja drones, not just in this particular matchup, but, rather just in this particular archetype, but I also find that just getting 2 chump blockers for 1 power is often a very, very good deal. We'll offer up the trade. He's very unlikely to take it, and I think what we'll do, I need to work out whether I want to leave these just to menace a double block, or whether I'm willing to go so far as to play the Ornate Katana. I'm normally more, I don't know, outgoing when it comes to playing the Ornate Katana because it replaces itself. The reality is it's going to be another 2 turns before I can use it and see another card. So I feel as though in this scenario, if I had another 2-drop, I definitely wouldn't be playing it now. I'd wait and see. But I think all other things being equal, we'll just continue getting deeper through our deck. We'll manage a difficult block, or we'll menace a difficult block rather. And if he's forced to stay back, then we can really put pressure on him. And that's just about exactly what we wanted to happen. Yeah, if I attack first, I won't have the opportunity to attack him with a Grenadin, which is something that I do want to do. And I'll be actually okay trading it, because that's still trading up even if it doesn't give me the best Thorn Beast target. So yeah, I feel as though I definitely use the Life Drink first. I could get greedy and try and take the Vulture, but if he's missing on blue and all he needs is to drop blue to get an evasiveness, then yeah, I really don't want to be left holding the bill on that. This sets up potentially a Delightful next turn. I could consider playing the Obsidian Golem and eating it with my Thorn Beast. That'll then protect this guy, which is exactly what I think I'm going to be doing. Alternatively, I could just choose to eat the Granadin. I feel as though that's probably better. I'll be happy to trade in this way. So I feel as though I'm in a good spot on the board. I really don't mind the idea of trading. And the top of my curve is 6, so I really see no reason to show him that I've got an empty hand right now. Okay, that represents a small amount of a problem for me. On the bright side, at least I can sit back and double block, which is exactly what he's trying to take away from me. If I choose to block, then I'm forced to block out. Take 5. I think I'll just chump him. He's going to kill him anyway with the snowball. And I hope to draw something other than power. If he has a trick, he has a trick, but I can't afford to let him have a 5-5 on the table right now. I realise that he's going to use the snowball, but that'll only leave him with 3 power, and I'll have myself a piece of equipment. In retrospect, I probably was better off letting him kill my frog. So, film colours don't have a lot of damage-based removal. They have the Lightning Storm, they have the Lightning Shocks, but the first one will start at 2. Am I happy just waiting and taking 3 and seeing if I can get into something better to turn him into a 5-5? No, I feel as though that's greedy. But I definitely don't want to quick them up. I don't want to open myself up to a 2-for-1 for no reason. Okay. Well, that was definitely my mistake. He's a very good draw to have. I've just got to hope that he doesn't have any more hard removal. If he doesn't, I can start attacking in. And if we manage to get through, there are quite a few nice cards for me to take off him. So, one of the tricks he could have is the Lightning Strike. If he has a second one, then he can chump and deal through. If I make my guy 7 power, it will require him to need to block with both, so we'll be effectively doing a 2 for 3. Yeah, that is a rate that I'm happy to take. Him digging is fantastic news. Means if he starts to brick, I can keep jumping in. They're unlikely to be able to trade with Marine Master anyway, so if I drop the sidearm on the Recogulator, I'm just stopping a potential trade, although if he still has the Lightning Strike, I'm 2 for 1ing myself. I feel as though I'd rather save it and put on one of the tokens, play it slightly safer. It's not as though I'm going to be pinched on mana for what I can cast. And at the moment I'm definitely in a dominant position, so there's no reason to throw away card advantage if I don't have to. I'm not feeling stressed yet. Okay, that reassures me. That means he's definitely digging and he's after card draw. If he had useful creatures to use, he definitely wouldn't be playing that right then. Don't want to give him the card draw straight away, so instead I'll let him take it after he's blocked my guy, which he's obligated to do, and we'll just... Do I play around him having a Lightning Strike? Does it really matter if they die? Are we losing 4 power in response for 2? Yeah, no, I think I'm happy waiting. He's going to have to block. If he doesn't block, he's in trouble. So if that's the case, let's just swing it. Even if he chooses to chump, I'll be getting for certain a Dark Wisp. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 creatures. So yeah, if he chooses to be greedy, wow, I don't like that decision at all. I really don't like that decision. I'm definitely not going to play into anything else. I want to protect something useful from a Lightning Strike so that way I don't lose the rest of my board. So I think we'll drop it over here. Yeah. So he's got a Plague. What else has he got? I'll take 3. So they're going to have to attack, which means that's going to pump next turn. So I want to attack everybody except for the Ranger, who I don't want to trade. I feel like that block was so greedy. So greedy. Can't get over how greedy it was. That being said, I was greedy too. I really should have kept that back and just jump off. And there we go. After a dodgy start, we're now up to win number 5, which is pretty sweet. I was originally only planning on playing 3 games, but we are relatively close. Originally, what else? 2-1. If I play for 1 more though, we're not going to have an extra video. So I'll tell you what, we're going to finish here. I'll come back in another couple of hours once I've sat in front of the fan and cooled down again. Overall, I feel as though this deck is going really well, and I feel as though you're getting a good sense of what Rakano Aggro should look like. Like the whole time that we were sitting there with him chump blocking against the Ringmaster, all I had to do was to draw one of my evasive spells, either overwhelming or unblockable, and once he hits through, it's game over. And so, likewise, if I get them down low enough, you can see how this top end just really complements the low curve. I've got to admit, I realise whilst I'm playing this that I'm making way more mistakes than I should, but even then, the deck is kind of doing its job for me. So we'll finish off there. I'll come back and hopefully we'll see the last couple of games with Stonescar Aggro to close out this draft. Thanks for your time, and feel free to watch any other videos as they come out. Okay.